Well, welcome everyone. I have no men in the room today. I had some boys in here yesterday, but I think they were here because that's where all the ladies were. How's everyone doing this morning? Good, are we awake? Yes, awesome. Okay, I'm gonna start you guys off with a quick video. It's gonna give you guys an idea of what aesthetics is, and actually it gives you a wider idea of what probably you don't realize that aesthetics can take you to. So it's just gonna be a quick 3-minute video and then I'll get started. So did I just pump you guys up or what? So a lot of these things that I showed you in the video are pathways that you can take once you're an esthetician. Some of these things like becoming a dermatologist or doing makeup for the movies, you don't necessarily have to take the aesthetics course in order to do these things. But for someone like myself who's been an esthetician for 5 years and I want to sort of bump up my career and take on a new challenge, there's a lot of pathways that I can take. So as I was introduced for before, I'm now currently enrolled in the Tech Voc Vocational Teacher Education Program at Red River, which in June I'll be able to teach aesthetics. So now I've taken my 5 years in aesthetics and I'm bumping it up to teach hopefully some of you guys one day. So I'm just gonna get you guys started here with sort of a background as to how you guys could get started as an esthetician if that's what you choose to do. So I'm assuming most of you guys are in high school? Yay, high school! So you guys need to graduate, so stay in high school. That's a good start. So when you guys graduate from high school, you can choose to either go to another high school that offers an aesthetics program, or you can go to a private school. There's private schools like Scientific Marvell, MC College, there's a bunch in the city that you can choose to go to. Some of the high schools you can actually enroll in the high school apprenticeship program. There's a school like the Louisville Arts and Technology Center. They offer a high school program that you can do your grade 11 and your grade 12 in the aesthetics program, and when you graduate high school, you're fully ready to work as an esthetician. So had I known this, I would have loved to have gone to high school, graduated, and leave with my high school diploma and my certificate to be an esthetician and have a career right at 18. That would have been pretty sweet. Once you guys earn your certification as an esthetician, you're going to register with the Manitoba Apprenticeship Board. It's a whole lot of rules that goes with that. I'll get into those. And there's no previous employment necessary to be an esthetician. It's great if you're a people person, if you're used to working in customer service and talking a lot. You meet a lot of new faces, a lot of new people. You hear about people's lives and their problems, and they confide in you. You're almost like a little bit of a counselor sometimes, but it's really great still. So like I said, once you graduate, you're going to register with the Manitoba Apprenticeship Board. There's some rules and regulations that goes with the Apprenticeship Board. I'm sure you guys have talked to a few places, a few trades that have been part of the Apprenticeship Board. You want to find an employer that you can work under that's going to develop you and push you to be the best esthetician that you can be. And you want to, and they're going to also agree to enter into the apprenticeship agreement with you. I'm going to give you a little bit of a story about what happened to me. When I was in school for aesthetics, I decided to start working for my apprenticeship hours as soon as I started in school. I started at a salon in St. Vital, started working part-time while I was in school, and after 4 months of working for them, I went to go sign all my hours away, and they actually didn't have a licensed journey person there when they told me they did, so I actually worked there for free, not counting any of my hours for 4 months. So kind of sucked. So when you're finding an employer, you got to make sure that they actually fully agree to be under the apprenticeship agreement with you, and that there's a signed document saying that your hours are actually counting, because nobody likes to work for free. So you need to work for them for 2 years, counting up to 3,200 hours to make up for your apprenticeship. And then after you accumulate your required practical hours, you can write your provincial certification exam. The nice thing about aesthetics versus something like hairstyling, which is kind of in the same world, with hairstyling you have to do a written and a practical exam. With aesthetics you just have to write a written. So as long as you get 70% over, you can graduate and you get a certificate that says you're a fully licensed esthetician, which basically means you can get paid more. The little note that I have there at the bottom, it says temporary permit with supervision exemption. In my case, where I worked for an employer who didn't have a journey person that I could work under, if there's a case where you graduate from aesthetic school and you have over 90% average, you can apply for something that's called the temporary permit for supervision exemption, which means you can work somewhere where there's not a licensed journey person and you can still count your hours. So if I decided that I wanted to open up my own salon, I can still count my hours and not have to have someone that I'm working under to count my hours, which is kind of nice. So I have a fun little picture here for you guys. So I just put up there some qualities to be successful as an esthetician. So pretty self-explanatory. You need to have a little bit of fun when you're working. You need to be knowledgeable. You need to be good with time management skills. You're positive. You want to be a leader. The good thing about this business is if you want to make some good money, you need to be very positive. You need to push yourself, motivate yourself, because if the clients don't come in to see you, you don't make a lot of money. So you need to be very out there, caring, self-motivated. You need to push yourself to make some good, to be successful in this business. So can anyone in here tell me that they at least have 5 in this picture? Everyone should have their hand up. Come on, guys. So I'm going to give you guys just sort of a roundabout way as to what my days look like on a typical day going into the salon. So normally I like to arrive 15 to 30 minutes earlier than my client's going to show up. So if my first client's at 9:30, I like to show up at 9 o'clock, 9:15 at the latest. I make sure to take a look at my schedule. Usually you have a receptionist at the front that takes all of your calls, makes all your appointments for you. So sometimes they don't know how you work exactly and what your timing is. So you want to make sure that all your schedule's scheduled perfectly so that you're not running behind, because that's all we need is to make our clients have to wait for us. I make sure that my workstation's clean, tidy, and ready to start my day. So when my client shows up, I go to the front, I greet my client, whether it's the first time I'm seeing my client or it's the 25th time I'm seeing my client, I always greet my client with a handshake, make sure that they know that I'm serious about my position and that they are going to be fully taken care of. Again, you want to make them feel as comfortable as possible, offering them beverages and magazines, things that are catered towards them. You kind of want to make sure that your client feels special. There's a lot of aesthetics places in the city, and it's hard to be that one esthetician that wants to stand out. So you got to make it a little bit more positive, a little bit more. If I have a male client coming in for a pedicure, I want to make sure that there's nice men's magazines out, not fashion magazines and what happened at the Oscars last weekend. You want to perform the service that's scheduled. So in aesthetics, you're doing manicures, pedicures, facials, hair removal, a whole bunch of fun stuff. And you want to make sure that the service is performed in the time that's expected. So if it's an hour pedicure, you want to make sure that you're taking an hour and you're not giving them a half an hour pedicure and kicking them out the door and charging them the same amount. So you want to make sure that they're getting the service that they're expected. When I'm done my client, I walk my client to the front, have them checked out, make sure the prices are all great, help my client with their jacket and offer them any retail products, and return to my station and clean and prepare for my next client. And so on and so on. So I'll go over some working conditions with you guys. It depends on where you work. Your dress code can be determined for you. So I work at a hair salon downtown. So it's basically you can wear whatever you want, but they're very focused on being professional. So making sure that everything's, dressed nicely, like you're serious about your job. Otherwise, you can work at a spa that wears full smocks, black head to toe with Crocs. Some days when I wear heels all day, it's nice to know that people wear Crocs. That would be nice. You're working a lot of long hours, depending on the salon that you work at. Sometimes they're open 7 days a week. The salon I work at, we're open from Tuesday to Saturday. So, you can work from 9 hours a day to 12 hours a day sometimes. So there's no guaranteed lunch hour. Your schedules are kind of made for you, and you can kind of make your own schedule. So sometimes, depending on if your clientele is really big, sometimes there is no time for lunch. So the vending machine tends to be your best friend, which isn't always the healthiest choice, but you do what you can when you can. And lots of salons are open on the weekends. So my salon, for instance, is open on Saturdays, so I work every Saturday. So that's something you have to get used to also. But the nice part about it is it's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, which when I go to Sundays and Mondays. So when I go to the grocery store on Mondays and there's no one in the grocery store, that's my Sunday for me. So that's sort of something you can get used to. Not your typical 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job. There's usually not a pension plan with being an esthetician. So that's something you sort of have to plan on your own when you're working as an esthetician. Most companies that you work for will have a healthcare insurance plan for you. So for your dental and any sort of medical expenses, they'll have that you can pay into. You don't get paid for your vacation or sick days. You get paid for vacation, usually it accumulates, but for your sick days, when you're sick, your clients are waiting for you. It's not really the same kind of job as you can put your paper aside and come back to it tomorrow and it'll still be there. You have a list full of clients in your day, so if you're sick, it makes everyone pretty upset. So it's a little bit it's not as easy to have someone fill in for you as an esthetician. And sometimes you're gonna have to do a little bit of volunteer work as well, just to sort of get your name out there. You wanna be positive, motivated. There's some free work that you have to do, give out gift cards, free manicures here and there, just to get people in the door, just to start loving you. And then once they love you, then they're in there for good. And sometimes you might have to work a second job in the beginning. I'm not going to pretend like when you get there, you're going to have a full clientele waiting for you at the door. It's a tough start. So for me, I had to work 2 jobs when I started for the first 2 years. And then after that, I was fully committed to my clients and got the ball running and had a full clientele by my 3rd year. So by then, I didn't have to work my second job anymore, which gave me a little bit more free time on the side, which was nice. Some fun duties as an esthetician. I'm making this sound like it's the worst job ever, but it's really fun. There's a lot of laundry to do, so if you don't like doing laundry, you'll get used to it. There's a lot of towels, lots of towels, and lots of towels. You're constantly cleaning. Nobody ever wants to go into a salon where it's all, nail clippings everywhere. Nobody wants to see that when you sit down for your feet. You want to make sure everything's cleaned. You want to make sure that your products are all stocked at all times so that your client that's expecting that lotion to be there is there for when they want to purchase it. Or if they're coming in for a service and I need that specific product to do that service, it's going to be there. Doing inventory and ordering products, and making sure to sterilize your tools. Sterilizing tools for us in this industry is our biggest health standard. Not sterilizing your tools can hurt not only your client, but it can actually hurt your business, and bad news travels fast. So we're pretty big on sterilizing our tools. For your personal health, it's a lot of repetitive motion. So you're sitting in a chair doing a manicure, or you're sitting doing a pedicure, or you're doing makeup, and you're not really moving too much motion. So having the correct posture when you work is really important. And constantly stretching and staying healthy and being full of energy so that you can keep up with all of your clients and making everyone feel great. So some fun things that have happened over the last 5 years or sort of in the aesthetics world. Has anyone heard of threading before? Yeah? Yeah. It's the new thing. So it's the new sort of, it's not really new, I guess it's new in Canada, in Winnipeg. It's a hair removal system that all the hair is being pulled out by one piece of string. So it's a little bit softer on the skin. You're not putting wax on and ripping off that top layer of skin. You're literally just pulling out hair by hair, but it's quicker than tweezing, but not as painful on the skin as waxing is. The shellac has taken over the aesthetics world in the last 5 years. Has anyone had shellac on their nails before? It's taken over, yeah. I can see all you guys like, yeah, shellac. So shellac is a UV polish that you put it on exactly like nail polish, but you cure it in a UV light, and it stays on for up to 2 weeks and doesn't chip. So it's pretty great. And it's fun. You can put on, you can do designs, you can do sparkles, you can do a whole bunch of different things. You can do French manicures that last the whole time. It's pretty great. It's sort of the new version of having to put on artificial nails, because we all know that artificial nails are a little bit harder on the nails, so it's nice to have those, your nails painted with shellac for an event and not have to worry about taking them off with a process like artificial nails. Eyelash extensions, like there was a little clip in the video there. Something that a lot of people are specializing in is eyelash extensions. The big thing now is doing individual eyelashes. It's literally one single hair glued to each single hair that's in your eyelashes. People pay big money for this kind of stuff. They can pay up to $300, $400, $500 for a full set of lashes. So the way that this works is, you put them on, you get a full set, and then after a few weeks, I think it's about 3 to 6 weeks, depending on how quick your lashes grow, you get them filled. So then you get new ones put in, and it's filled in, kind of like your nail fill. And then sugaring. Sugaring is a new hair removal process that's been big in Canada lately. It's a little bit less harsh on the skin than waxing is. You can wash it right off because it's lemon, water, and sugar. That's all that it's made out of. It's boiled in a pot, and you can put it on, and you flick it off, and it flicks the hair with it. You roll it back into a ball, you put it on, you flick the hair off, you put it back in a ball. It's pretty great. So it's very green if you want to sort of do a healthier way of waxing, and it's a lot cheaper too. So what I think is going to happen in the next 5 years, or at least that I'm hoping, the beauty industry is forever changing, and there's new salons popping up everywhere. There's always going to be jobs for anyone. So if you're passionate about aesthetics, you like beautifying people, pampering people, this is definitely something there's always going to be a position for you anywhere. It's a great career to get started if you want to own your own business one day. So eventually my plan is to teach aesthetics and have a salon out of my home. So it's nice that you can sort of do that, and you can either work for yourself out of your home, you can open up your own little shop, or you can have a whole bunch of people working under you as your employees. So there's a lot of opportunity if you want to start your own business, and it goes with you everywhere. The one thing about it is all your friends are going to ask you for services all the time. And in my personal opinion, I don't think there's enough schools in the city that teach aesthetics. So there's a few private schools that you can go to. but I don't feel like there's enough high schools that teach it enough. So the Louisville Arts and Technology Center is the only high school in the city that teaches a full aesthetics program. There's a couple high schools that teach just the nail tech portion, but that's the only school in the city that teaches the full aesthetics. There's a course in Winkler, and there's a course in Steinbach also, but that's not in the city. But so I wish that there was a little bit more of the high schools, the vocational high schools, that would get involved with aesthetics. So if you're at a vocational high school, put the word out there for me, okay? And last but not least, the fun money part of it all. So the way that you get started in aesthetics is when you graduate from your aesthetics program, you're going to start and you're going to find an employer that wants to train you. So when you start for your first year, the minimum that they have to pay you is minimum wage plus 10%. They can pay you more if you ask them to, and they are willing to, but this is the minimum standard according to the Manitoba Apprenticeship Board. So right now, minimum wage is $10.45, plus 10% is $11.50 an hour, because we don't make pennies anymore. And then there's plus your tips on top of that as well. Within your second year, you need to make at least minimum wage plus 20%, which boosts you up to $12.53, $12.55 an hour, also plus your tips. Then when you start building an actual clientele, you can decide, like with my employer, I had the option to either stay at an hourly wage and make a small commission, or I can switch completely to a full commission. So right now, if I do a pedicure and it's $50, then I make $25, my employer makes $25, and then as my client's leaving, they tip me on top of that, and then it depends, then you can make anywhere between $30 to $40 an hour. So it bumps it up a little bit. It's good to make commission if you have a good solid clientele. If you don't have a clientele and you're on commission and your client doesn't show up, you don't make money. So it's a fine line. If you're ready to be that busy, then for sure do commission because it's worth it in the end. But if you're still building your clientele and you're getting used to the career, then it's good to make the hourly wage at the beginning just before you make your full clientele. And if you want to make money, you can always make more money and you can always upgrade yourself. There's courses everywhere. Like I was showing at the beginning with the eyelash extensions, you can pick a specialty and be a snob at that service. So take all the training that you can take for that service. You can, specialize in a waxing procedure that no one else in the city does, and you'll be that girl that everyone wants to go see, because there's a lot of estheticians in this city, and you want to make sure that you stand out from everyone else. So picking something that you can be a snob at that service is going to make you that one person that everyone wants to see. And like I was saying before, that depending on who you're working for, they can provide you with group insurance for your health, dental, and vision and all that. So, my first 2 years was a little bit slow. So you make your minimum plus your 10%, minimum plus your 20%. So it's hard. I worked 2 jobs within the first 2 years. After my first 2 years, coming my third year, I was finally building up a decent clientele. I really realized that I was really passionate about this career. I loved pampering people all day. I loved that, when I go to my girlfriend's place and we're going out for dinner and they're all ready to go, but they all don't have makeup on and they're like, we're ready for you to do our faces. At the beginning it was fun. Now it's like, okay guys, let's just go, I'm hungry. But at the beginning it was fun because, they look to me, they're inspired by me to make them look better. And that to me is the great part about this job. So no matter what you guys choose out of this career symposium today, I hope that something inspires you. And I'm going to leave you guys with a quote from John Bon Jovi saying that nothing is as important as passion. No matter what you want to do with your life, just be passionate. So depending on what you guys choose, just be passionate about it. And no matter what the challenges that come up, you're going to be able to get through them. So I hope that I've inspired you guys to become an esthetician, and it's a really fun career. And I hope that one day I will be your